Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Striker, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about EVE Frontier. Now, I'll just give you a little bit of my background, okay? I got a majority of hours spent in Web3 gaming, so I got a big proficiency in crypto and blockchain technology. I have roughly about 150 hours in EVE Online, maybe up to 200 max, over a couple characters over multiple years. So on the blockchain side, significantly, I can help you out there. On the EVE side, I still consider myself a noob. I don't think 150 hours is anywhere near experienced on the EVE side, but that's where we'll get some of your feedback, hopefully in the comments below. But today what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about EVE Frontier, the newest blockchain project that's being developed by CCP with backing from A16Z. Okay, I've gone through the white paper. I've gone through the website. Obviously, the game is currently in place test mode, and there's an NDA, so we can't be discussing any of the items about the gameplay specifically, but we can talk about the public information related to like the white paper, EVE Frontier, and really the goal of this video is to go ahead and I'm going to speculate a lot. I'm going to be giving you my feedback in terms of what my thoughts are. Really, this idea of the video is to go ahead and give like an overall view of what my perception is of what's happening right now in this space. What EVE Frontier could mean, and pretty much how the player's really going to get along, right? So let's go ahead and start off. Now, the EVE Frontier, I believe it's been about 2 or 3 years now since A16's backing. They got roughly about $40 million to go ahead and build out this project. Thanks to the EVE Online community, specifically Oz creating his reviews of the financial statements for EVE Online, for CCP specifically, and the majority owner of the company. Through that, we're able to see some information on there that looks like that part of this investment was part of a token sale, a SAFT here for tokens to be issued in the future. Roughly, I believe on the financials it was showing roughly about $30 million. Maybe more is to come in the future. We don't have very much information on tokenomics yet. But what we do have is the white paper for what EVE Online potentially can become. And this is where we get into some tricky concepts. Okay, look, for any of you that's not heavily invested in cryptocurrency, you don't really have very much information or education in terms of blockchain technology, what I can tell you right now is that the white paper is going to detail the vision for the company. This is a vision of what EVE Frontier could become. Okay, not what it is right now and not what it will likely be in the next couple years, regardless of how much hype there is. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of crypto evangelists that are going to come out and want to say that, this is the next coming, and maybe it is, but we haven't seen that level of success yet for a AAA studio. CCP is pushing it to the extreme here by trying to build a AAA product that's going to implement this technology, hopefully educate gamers in terms of what like blockchain tech can bring to it, and then go from there and grow by decentralizing and so on and so forth. So just to give you a little TDLR on the white paper, the vision here is to, in the long run, create a decentralized autonomous world, a world that could be controlled by the players and the stakeholders of the digital realm. That governance would be able to be spread out amongst various owners, various wallets, various players, so on and so forth. The idea being that CCP is trying to create a digital living world similar to the concepts that you've heard from the metaverse or concepts you've heard from Ready Player One, something that can theoretically exist on its own using blockchain tech. The idea being, again, that CCP is creating something that's going to live, hopefully, if they succeed, long beyond the life cycle of the company CCP itself and or any of the members. Okay, the main item here that is going to be apparent from their discussions in the white paper are really threefold. The first off is this concept of digital physics. Digital physics implying that CCP, through their coding on the blockchain, is going to be setting the foundational rules for this universe. This can be something as simple as, where items may, spawn on different levels, on different worlds, or how how space is traveled or navigated, the distance between certain worlds. The idea here is that the physics of the game is supposed to be immutable. It's supposed to be part of the foundation that even when full decentralization occurs, that it will not ever be changed. They need to lay the groundwork so that everyone else can then build on from. Okay, so that's one of the main concepts. With this concept of digital physics, they talk about this game mechanic of decay. This idea that simply by existing in this new world that Eve Frontier is putting forward, that your items, your ships, your structures, the world around you will be in a constant state of decay. Theoretically, I've been listening to some podcasts that Helmar, the CEO over there at CCP, has been putting forward on his ideas on why this idea of decay is so important, and he discusses the importance of suffering and the ability for players or people in general to be able to unite behind a common goal. Okay, this idea might be the fundamental aspect that drives an economy, right? So if there's this overarching presence, negative reinforcement that has to be overcome simply for existence to occur in this world, then you can see a reason why the economic factors behind this game will exist. If we're always in a state of decay, then it will. One of the items that being discussed in a lot of Web3 games is how do you create a world that's not simply extracted, where value is simply extracted by the player base, but instead values imported into the game. So if you're needing to quote unquote bring in value into this game, you may need to do that simply to survive the level of decay, right? So it may be a reason. Maybe this is something that might emulate a subscription, where they discuss the idea that fuel is needed to be able to power all items in the game, and that fuel then is likely going to be your energy resource. Is also going to help you combat decay. So I could easily envision a situation where the game has a subscription, where they're selling the tools that are needed to be able to harvest and create this fuel. And then based off that, players then have the freedom to do with it what they like, which ideally is going to be players creating systems through corporations or tribes of players working together to combat this decay, be able to grow past it. And ideally, I would assume we're going to be in a world where once players have come up with the economic systems in the game through trade, through production, through combat, to be able to survive in this world, that's when you can then build off of. So there needs to be a base level of survivability. This game is considered a survival MMO. So that will, in my opinion, that could supply the driving economic force at a very fundamental level. Once players then learn how to overcome that force, they will then be able to build their empires and grow beyond that. So this sense of decay and this ever-present, potentially immutable digital physics within this game world is one of those driving factors that blockchain technology adds. Not able to be changed. CCP creating the rules from the very start. Okay, that's how we start. This is how the world comes to life with this ever-present challenge. Okay, then how else can players add value into this digital world? The concept of smart contracts on Ethereum. For any of you that aren't aware of blockchain technology, eFrontier is going to be running on a layer of the Ethereum network. For those of you that are already down the rabbit hole with crypto, you know where I'm coming from. So bear with me for a couple seconds while I explain this. But for the new ones out there, pretty much Ethereum is a decentralized networks which has different layers of blockchains that operate and roll up transactions to it in order to enable scalability, so that more and more people around the world can be able to use it. The system that eFrontier is using, is the OP stack. This is the Optimism Layer 2 rollup, and they're specifically using the Redstone development framework with the Mud framework as well. giving you some background here. You guys can do a little research on that on your own. I definitely want to go. I've been following the Lattice team and the Mud framework for a while now, but I definitely want to do a refresher. So don't be surprised in the future as I go back and review some of that blockchain tech. Go ahead and create some videos for you potentially to help explain those items. Okay. But pretty much these systems are what is enabling smart contracts on Ethereum to be able to be used inside this game world. The one concept that's discussed in the white paper is this idea of like a smart assembly. Pretty much consider it like a storage depot in space where when a player goes to it, it is the location in space where smart contracts, in other words, the connection to the outside world, can exist. Through programming with Solidity on Ethereum, players can turn this depot into a trading station. They could turn it into a quest giver. They could turn it into some type of refueling station for their corporation or for their tribe. Organizations in eFrontier are going to be called tribes. And really, this is going to be the main connection to the outside world in the beginning. The developer CCP is opening up not only the game engine, the Carbon game engine, but they're also opening up through smart contracts this ability to be able to have players, developers create code that can then access the blockchain and all of its utility to be imported into eFrontier through these assembly systems. So we, in terms of a blockchain world, we have, just to recap, a couple major items here to think about. We have the Ethereum layer 2 optimism scaling solution. We have this idea about digital physics, which will be pretty much hard-coded rules on how this world is going to operate onto the blockchain. And then smart assemblies, which will allow players and developers to add unique value, unique items, unique structures to the game. This is going to be the way that theoretically eFrontier will live on forever, through the coding on the blockchain, which should be able to be perpetuated over time as Ethereum grows and as it scales. So what does this all mean? What it means is that we have a situation right now where one of the biggest developers in the world, CCP, with operating one of the largest MMOs in the world, EVE Online, is taking its learnings from the past 15 to 20 years to be able to build off of a brand new technology. And we already know plenty of gamers are not satisfied with blockchain tech. They don't want it in games. Hey, look, I completely understand that. If you're in that camp, by all means. I'm excited to see how this plays out, because it may be able to actually create the quote-unquote Ready Player One world that developers and players, investors have been fantasizing about for a long time now. It's going to be slow, guys. It's going to be slow. It's not going to start off that way, okay? There's going to be plenty of hurdles, just like there's always been with blockchain technology. But the hope, in my opinion, is there. I think they have a chance. So if you're one of the players that are looking at this coming from the angle of like no blockchain tech whatsoever, I'm looking at it like once players start to experience it, there's very few, blockchain haters, I guess you could say, that have really experimented too much with the tech. I think once they start to see how this tech could be utilized and actually interact with it themselves, rather than just reading evangelists say why it's good and what decentralization means and what true player asset ownership means, I think we're going to have a chance here for more mainstream type of adoption. Now, what excites me as an individual is this idea that EVE Online has already experimented, and a lot of the ethos with players that are playing EVE Online align very well with blockchain enthusiasts' ideals. This idea of free markets, this idea of being able to honestly, operate in a digital world where value is on the line, right? There's so many articles about like the history and the wars of that have happened on EVE Online, and why players have lost thousands and thousands of actual world dollars, and what this economy is, to what level or scale this economy inside this digital world is. Now we're going to take that, those learnings from all of these years, and apply blockchain technology to it to see what the next iteration of this digital online ecosystem could be. I'm extremely excited for it. I'm going deep down the rabbit hole to learn as much as I can, hopefully to be able to share with you guys some more. But I just wanted to go ahead and just talk a little bit about it right now. We didn't really get into super specific items about the white paper, but I'm going to be going into it pretty hardcore. I'm hoping that, you know, we probably, who knows how long it takes till this game comes out, right? It's still in playtest mode right now. So it could be a year, it could be 2 years, could be 6 months. Who knows? So we're just going to have to keep our ear to the ground. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to be learning, continuing to be trying to understand what the future here might hold. Obviously, I'm not able to share a lot of the NDA stuff that we talked about from the beginning, that I was not able to do here. But that it does allow us to speculate in terms of what's been happening right now with the release of the white paper. So I hope that caught you guys up just a little bit in terms of what's going on here. And just stay tuned to more videos. Hopefully I'll go ahead and get some more out for you pretty soon. Until then, it's going to be Striker signing off. Catch you guys next time. Peace.